there's no reason to not succeed in what I'm doing. It's the same way I approached modeling. I'm like, I have to make it to the top. Like, there's no other option. In my opinion, modeling doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the real modeling world does not exist. You should be able to click on a page, look for 5 seconds and be like, okay, I understand this person. You want a gentleman. You want someone that's your biggest supporter, that tells you you're beautiful every day, that wants you to be the best
version of yourself
ever.
Welcome to 80/20. I'm Shanina and I'm here with
Georgia Sinclair.
We are filming in Spring Place in Los Angeles, and today we have a very special guest, very dear to my heart. She is one of the most beautiful women in the world, supermodel, founder of JOJA. She is a new mum as well, and we have here Jasmine Tookes.
Hi.
Hi,
bestie.
welcome to 80/20.
Thanks for having me.
My bestie.
I feel like
Happy
we've
to
been
be
talking
here.
about this for a while, and we're so excited to have you on.
I know, it's finally happened.
I
Yeah.
know, yay! We're gonna have
Yay.
it.
She is a very busy woman, so it's hard to schedule her in. But
Pin me down.
pin her down. But I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah, we had to get up at the crack of dawn this morning.
Can you guys do a little earlier?
Yeah, no, this works well for us, and no, she's a powerhouse, so it's great, and I love your work ethic. And I think for me, like Jasmine and I, our backstory, we've grown up together. We've really grown up together. Moved to New York pretty much around the same time ish, and I think we were in our we were 18, 19 when we met, 19, 20, just or 20.
Maybe 19.
19,
Little babies, still in
Little
your
babies.
teens.
Now I'm 32.
Turning 33. We're both turning
Turning
33.
33, yeah.
Another fun fact, Jasmine and I are 10 days apart. Yeah. So
Wow, you really are twins.
Yeah.
we think alike. That's why we get along. That's why we're here on this
Yeah.
couch, because it's just, it's very, very easy.
Okay, so let's talk about how you did meet. So you moved to New York, and you were modeling, of course. Did you meet at a casting, or did you meet at Victoria's Secret? Like, what happened?
I'm trying to think where we actually met. Like,
I think we
actually saw each other for the first time. Maybe it was backstage at like fashion shows.
I think it was, we were at castings together. I think in the modeling world and castings, and you can, talk on your behalf as well. Like New York is a bubble with models. Starting off new and being a new face, we're always going to the same castings. And I think for us as well, being, exotic, diverse, we were kind of going to the same castings, and also because we had that stigma, little stereotype, like the sexy girl.
Yeah.
So we were always around each other. But I think we were at, you know what it was? I think it was the Dolce & Gabbana thing that we really got to know each other.
Really? Wait. The show?
Not the show. Fashion
I
Night
remember.
Out.
Yes, I remember. That
And we had to
I think
dance
was
on the
when
street.
we really got to, we had seen each other a lot, but I think we actually started talking and realizing that we are a perfect match.
That we're
Around Fashion
Aquarians.
Week. And then we developed more through Victoria's Secret,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. When I was 20, I got the VS show. And I remember telling Jasmine, I was like, you're going to get it. She got it like the year after. And I was like, yes, now I have a friend with me I can hang out with. It was the best, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. The best times, and just like having all your friends around.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's a dream.
Do you want to talk about a little bit more about, and I get asked this a lot, about the role of coming into Victoria's Secret and how it was for you and the casting process?
Yeah. I mean, I casted for Victoria's Secret twice before I booked the show. And every time I never got down on myself. I was always like, okay, it's just not my time. And, there's a reason why I'm not being booked, and it's okay. I'll do it next time.
Like, why?
But I never got too down on myself. And then even like casting to be a model just in their photo shoots, I saw them a few times and they were just like, no, she's not ready yet. And it was fine. And then once it did happen, like I'm still so grateful and so thankful to have that as the catapult to my career. And I could say nothing but good things about them.
I love your attitude I love Jasmine's attitude with how she deals with, like, for example, oh, it's just not my time. Yeah, it's okay. Like me, you know, and we've been casting together too. And I was like, they don't like me. They said, and I would get so down on myself. And I was like, how do I fix this? What am I going to do? And I get like, I really take it to heart. But like, how do you do that? How do you be like, okay, it's fine, and just keep going and moving forward, and rather than being like, oh, like getting you down?
You know what? I think about it all the time, and people ask me all the time, how do you brush things off so easy, or how are you so like nonchalant about things? And I really don't know, because my mom is not that way.
Yeah.
My grandma's not that way. I just, for some reason, maybe in my past life, I was just, you know, this very zen, chill, laid back person that just doesn't really.
I think that's the sign of true self-confidence, though, isn't it?
Maybe.
Like, I think that, you know, and a big difference between self-confidence and arrogance, which is in Australia, I think Shanina and I were raised, and this is a cultural thing, you're raised to believe, and they call it tall poppy syndrome, that if you're overly confident, that's arrogant. You know, whereas that's a very big difference between our cultures. It's just not that way over here.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I do notice that about you when I look at your social media. I think, wow, that's just a beautiful, confident woman, you know, who gets up and she knows who she is, and she knows she always looks fabulous.
She knows she's a bad bitch.
She's a bad bitch.
I mean, now that you say it that way, I'm like, yeah, I am very confident in myself.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where I get the, you know, like whatever, it'll happen when it happens, and kind of whatever I put out into the universe, it usually happens.
I wish I could bottle that and sell it.
I know. Good. No, good on you.
I don't have any special formula, but yeah, I think maybe it does boil down to confidence.
Yeah.
It's nice because I tried to learn off you. Like, you know, we try like, or mold into that, or like feel that. So, you know, you do a good job, and that confidence and that energy you see with your surroundings, like who you bring in, and like longevity friendships and all that. But yeah, it was nice because when we traveled as well, like Jasmine and I, when we talk about like your journey from VS or just like traveling so much and doing the castings, it like, remember we would like travel like early in the morning from New York. It would be British Airways, back like just crazy hours and planes. And I remember like Jasmine and I would ask for our hotels to be together.
Yeah, we would
because
stay
it's
in the same
lonely,
room
isn't it?
Together.
Isn't it lonely?
Yeah, it is lonely. You're running around to a million castings a day. Maybe don't even book one, and then you're just like, well, shit, I'm just stuck in Paris doing nothing for 5 days.
Yeah.
But at least if we have each other, then
yeah,
it made it more fun.
I was going to say, you must have found a lot of fun in those 5 days
we had
of nothing.
fun. We definitely had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of like sleepless nights. We would be so jet lagged that we would just stay up all night. laying
Yeah.
there.
That. What did you do when you stayed up all night?
Instagram.
Instagram was around then?
Instagram was around. It was like brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember
Brand
that
new.
when remember the days when you just take a photo and you'd throw like the lark
filters on
filter
it?
over it, and you'd be like, yeah, let's go. And you just raw dog it onto the
Yeah, there was also that app,
and-
Hipstamatic, and you would take the like film style photos and load them up.
Oh,
think-
yes.
I think we were like playing with Snapchat a lot. That's actually funny. We can go back to that. But yeah, we were playing with Snap a lot, and we'd go to jobs and they would just have to separate us as well because we were just laughing too much. But I feel like when we're doing...
Oh my gosh, Tom Ford.
What
One year
happened?
where we were booked by Tom Ford. This was before he did any shows. Like very first presentation, I think, as Tom Ford for his own brand. And we got booked and it was just a bad recipe to have us back there because he is the best smelling human on earth. Like
On earth.
unbelievable.
I have actually smelled him. I sat next to him at a restaurant once.
It's unreal. I'm like, he must make his own scent. Obviously, his scents are amazing. His
Yeah.
fragrance are amazing. But
Every
he-
relationship, I was giving him a Tom Ford cologne. I'm like, wear this. It works.
like the most well-dressed man, the most best-smelling man. So whenever he would come across us, like while we're doing a fitting, we're like, and then we would look at each other through the mirror, and she'd be like, "Oh, Tom Ford looked at me." I'm like, "No, he looked at me."
we would be texting each other.
We were so young, like such teenagers, just giggling over this.
I remember that exact.
Guy.
It was so funny. So we were doing a fitting, and there was a mirror in front of us, and Jasmine was at the start of the line. I was at near the end
That's
of the
the one
line.
I'm talking about.
It was so, and my Aussie is so bloody funny. She was like, it's like, wow, just look at her face. This like outfit looks just stunning on her body. And then I just see Jasmine's eyes peer at me like, See? And then it come back to me. And then he was like, your eyes are just so beautiful and all that. And I look at her, I'm like, yeah. It's like, who's gonna win,
battle.
Tom? It was a battle.
Yeah.
But
and Anna Wintour is like sitting across and like, trying not to smile.
yeah. But with saying that, with all the jobs and those crazy hours, how did Jasmine Tookes take care of herself when she was always on the go and like you were nonstop? We were both nonstop. How did you take care of yourself?
We were both nonstop. I think having my mom there was always the thing that really kept me grounded, kept me sane. I mean, again, we were like not sleeping, constant rejection. So having my mom there was really, I think, what kept me going and like kept my brain healthy.
That's interesting for me to hear because obviously Shanina being Australian, I'm Australian. We couldn't have our mums in those types of situations. So you really
I did at times though.
Yeah.
I understand where Jasmine's coming from because it's so much rejection. And I think also we're 5'9", and in the fashion world, we're short to do runway, but we wanted to do runway. And so we dealt with a lot of rejection.
But your mum was
I flew my mum out.
Oh, you flew your mum out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I couldn't do it. I was like, and then it's funny. When I had my mum there, I would book jobs. I would book it.
Because mummy was there making
Yeah,
me better.
Mummy, I miss you.
More confident.
Yeah.
It was so nice having my mom there. Like she would sit with me at castings and I would look at all these young girls that are like 16, 15 years old and they're just there by themselves.
Yeah.
Like you don't even know what you're doing.
And dealing with that rejection at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure you get this question a lot, when should I start modeling? What should I do? Because there's a lot of, and modeling is so broad today, but like what if, what's your advice for young girls or boys who want to begin modeling? Don't do it. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's hard. It's so hard to say now because in my opinion, modeling doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like the real modeling world does not exist. It's turned into this whole new
era.
Yeah, it's so different. Like when we started modeling, we had to run around with our portfolios and our heavy books, and that's like how clients booked us. Now you have this Instagram or a TikTok, and however you portray yourself on those platforms is how people look at you, and then they're like, oh, I would like to use her for my campaign. So my advice to someone now who wants to get into being in campaigns, I'm not even gonna call it modeling, but like being in campaigns and being in magazines is just develop your own personal identity on a platform.
Do you think social media has been beneficial for you for work?
I think it has been really beneficial for my work with the way the industry is changing.
Yeah.
But I think it's also hurt a little bit that nostalgic era of just being really freaking good at your job. And like, it's hard to separate a real like supermodel or just someone who does social media that ends up in a campaign. It's like, I think even now I notice when I'm on set with clients and they've been working with influencers for so long and then they meet a real model, they're like, oh my God, you're so good at posing, or you actually know what to do. I'm like, yeah, no shit. This is what this is my profession. Like this is what
I was born this way.
I've been doing for 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think that's hurt it a little bit. And I think people forget that there are real models in the industry.
Yeah, I agree with you because like if you think about it, there must be so many incredibly beautiful women out there and men who are deserving to be at the top like you guys who just aren't very good at social media or who are a bit shy, and those people are never going to get seen, whereas some people who probably aren't, physically what a supermodel would have looked like 10 years ago but have huge social media followings are getting the jobs that you guys had just because of those followings. Yeah. I mean, it's very...
Well, back in the day, back in the day, not even with us, it's like you would go...
We sound like we're on Zimmer frames.
I
Back
know.
in my day.
Back in my day. No, but the supermodel era, like you would go see the designer.
Yeah.
And that would bother me also with castings because, and I think for you as well, we would find ourselves... It was difficult for me because every casting I went to, like, you're too sexy. And I was like, oh, God. Like,
Yeah,
Jasmine,
put it away, Shanina.
Jasmine was like the dear best friend, my biggest supporter, because Jasmine was in a different agency. So she would go to some certain jobs and she's like, hey, I went to this casting. They're booking a lot of like sexy girls, like exotic, sexy girls. And I think your agency should put you up for this. It's like, this is the ride or die girl. So I was like, I'm going to tell my agency. And I would go there and the designer would love me. And then they're like, why? What happened? And I was like, it's because the stylist was booking the job. And so I liked that idea of like going into a fitting and the designer would be there and it's like, okay, you work right for my clothes. This makes sense. But then we'll be rejected because the stylist or the casting director didn't like us. So we missed that. But in the 90s supermodel era, they went straight to the designer.
Yeah, and that relationship just isn't there anymore.
No.
Like it's really hard to get in the room with like just the designer.
And I'm bothered by this. Some influencers, and I think you've seen this as well, don't know fashion. They don't know the designers.
Yeah. Like you see people at shows or even walking in shows and you're like, do you even know who this designer is? Do you know their history in fashion?
Yes.
Like that's the part that really just sometimes gets under my skin. And I think influencers are really good at what they do and they have a certain area of expertise. But when it comes to like the real modeling that has been going on for ages since like Tyra Banks and all those supermodels, it's like, I don't think they really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about influencers for a second because yes, you're a supermodel, but
You're a really good influencer.
this is a compliment. You
I
are
have
a
to be an influencer.
fabulous influencer.
Yeah.
Like you really know your shit with social media.
Thanks.
Can you offer some advice to everyone out there as to how to grow a following? I mean, obviously, wake up looking like Jasmine Tookes, that helps. But but apart from that, I know it's like a full-time job for you, isn't it? You
It
put
is
in
a
a lot of
full-time
work.
job. And I think a lot of people think that they can just start an Instagram account and it's just going to go well because they're posting pictures every single day. But I don't think that that's really the answer. I think you have to find what it is that you love, create 5 pillars. So if someone looks at your Instagram page, they know exactly who you are. They're like, I know she likes hair, makeup, jewelry, fashion, and shoes. It's like you should be able to click on a page, look for 5 seconds and be like, okay, I understand this person. And
That's
I
good
feel like a lot
advice.
of people
Yeah.
just post whatever they want to post, which is fine. But if you're trying to grow a following and grow some identity, you have to be very clear with what that is.
The 5 pillars.
5 pillars.
I like that.
Great advice.
I don't think I do that.
Even if you
Yeah.
can't make 5, make 3. I think
Okay.
it's so important. It's like if you like dogs, the ocean, fashion, it's like
you
make
like
it really
so-
clear.
If you like
Yeah.
socks,
Yeah, if you like socks,
like
post
Sarah.
about socks.
Sarah likes socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the way that I do my Instagram now, it's changed a lot over the years because before it used to be very much more on the sexy Victoria's Secret kind of look. And now I'm going off after a much more luxury sort of style. And I look at what the clients that I'm hoping to work with are like, what they're portraying. And I try to do the Jasmine version of that.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
good.
awesome.
But it's a lot of work. It's not just like I set aside 2 to 3 days a week to just do content.
wow.
And
It's that
like,
much work.
It's not just like I don't just pick up a phone and a light and film. It's a whole like conceptualizing and it's a
But how
full-time job.
How do you do the content, like maybe for others that don't have the clients to like present brands? So how do you just create the content? Like I guess during the pandemic that would have been like a bit difficult, or when it's a bit slow sometimes. Like how do you just come up with content?
I think it's hard because some people have that creative mind and some people don't. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle with like, okay, I need to make a video or a reel about a water bottle. And they're like, what do I do?
yeah.
And I think what's really helpful sometimes is asking friends. Like if you have any creative friends, reach out to them and be like, hey, I have to do this video about this water bottle. Have you seen anything that's cool? Or I love Pinterest.
I was gonna say, I feel
get
like you're a Pinterest
so much
girl.
inspiration on Pinterest. I probably have 500 boards.
It's in
and
my
I
garden.
save everything there. It's in my garden.
Yeah.
We had another guest the other day and they were talking about like being creative minds, and I was saying Pinterest mood boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinterest is the best for mood boards. I think just finding creativity, like find what's out there and then take your own spin on that is what I love to do.
Okay.
Yeah. What about aesthetics? Because I every time I look at your Instagram, I just think, wow, it's like a fucking museum.
How do you think that? Because that's my goal.
Yeah. How do you
Don't
figure
touch
that?
it. Don't touch it.
How do you figure that out? I mean, do you have specific apps or programs that you use? Like,
I use an app called Preview, and that's where I can lay out all my content. I probably have in my phone right now 2 months worth of content. I could post a photo every single day and not have to shoot anything.
Wow.
But my problem is, and this is the hard part, is when you're creating this aesthetic and you're creating this beautiful board, you get stuck in a rut of like, I can't post because no color is matching perfectly with the grid right now. So then I just don't post.
And I thought I had OCD. That's amazing.
No, it's kind of bad, but then and at the same time, I see that it pays off. Like a lot of people lately have been like, I love your Instagram, or even big luxury clients have been approaching me like, I would love for her to shoot things like this.
That's amazing.
I just did a campaign last weekend, and the whole mood board was my Instagram, which is crazy. And like, there's the colors and everything. So as much as it sucks and as hard as it is, I think it pays off and people notice.
Mm-hmm. Good.
But it's not easy. It's so hard to create an aesthetically pleasing Instagram.
Okay. So what about Reels? Because I feel like where I get thrown off, I understand how to do the photo thing, edit them with different filters to make them look great and whatever. And then you have to throw a reel in there for something random, exactly as you said. Like it could be something so dry, like a water bottle.
Yeah,
and you're like, how do I make this as pretty as everything else? Like,
or aesthetically to your page.
Yeah. Do you have any advice on that?
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
My assistant and I just had to do something recently, and it was, I did this juice cleanse that I was super excited to do because I love this brand Press Juicery. So I just did a cleanse, and I'm like, how do I shoot this and tell the story in a way that's really authentic to me, but still has like a luxury spin on it? So I was just like, people love my outfits and sort of my get ready with me kind of videos. So I'm like, let me just pair the drink with just really luxury elevated outfits. And it kind of worked.
Yeah.
And then I think what's really fun about Reels is you can choose the cover image to be whatever you want it to be. So you can take a really nice aesthetically pleasing image of the water bottle and it fits on the grid.
There you go.
There you go.
Top tips.
Guys, how to become an Instagram expert.
But it's just like, you just got to really like nail down your vibe and your vision, and then you can really create content with anything as long as you stay in your box.
It's important. I think you touched on that. Is like being authentically yourself.
Yeah,
will make that part a little bit easier.
Yeah, you have to be authentic, and also I don't do any brand deals or anything that aren't really something I would use. Like the juice cleanse, for example. I'm drinking it every day, and I've been doing it for. It was supposed to be a 7-day cleanse, and now it's been a 30-day cleanse.
Wow.
So I think just really. I don't say yes to things just because it's a good offer. I think it just really has to match with the Jasmine Tookes brand.
I love that.
Let's talk about diet since you're talking about juice.
Yeah.
Because I have to say, I've never seen somebody enjoy Popeyes more than you. So
I love Popeyes.
So I just want everybody to know that yes, she has one of the most perfect bodies in the world, but I think
she loves a bucket of Popeyes.
She loves her
I love it. You have to enjoy yourself. You have one freaking life, and if you want to eat your Popeyes, eat your Popeyes.
Good on you.
That's the best. But what
or
do
if
you
don't
normally
eat McDonald's? Eat McDonald's.
Yeah.
But you eat in moderate. You don't eat it all the time.
I don't eat it every day. My skin would freak out.
Yeah. No, I think that's important to say. Like you're saying, she likes to eat in moderation when it feels right. And I noticed this
80-20.
80-20. I noticed this about you as we've grown up is Jasmine will eat until she's satisfied. Like she won't keep going, like we don't sometimes do, but like literally until she's satisfied, she's like, yep, I had my taste and I'm good.
Yeah, and I also go through like different stages. Like I maybe will eat unhealthy for a week and then I'm like, okay, let me get my shit together and start eating healthy again. And I think it's okay to go through those ups and downs. And when I'm not working out, I don't want to eat healthy. Yeah. When I am working out, I do want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
I think it's like a balance.
What's your workout regimen?
I've been trying to get back into working out.
Hard
it's
in the
been
new year.
really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, especially after a baby.
Yeah.
Throughout my pregnancy, I didn't work out at all. I would like, I had zero energy.
Really? I had the opposite.
Did not want to. I know. And I'm like, how are these girls getting up and doing stuff? All I want to do is lay in bed.
Yeah.
I had zero energy. So I didn't work out through my pregnancy. And then after, I was just so overwhelmed with all the things that come with a baby. So then I really didn't work out.
Well, that's kind of a workout in its.
No, it is. I mean, breastfeeding enough, it's like taking all the calories out of your
Yeah,
body.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
you both
now-
just went. Shoop.
Yeah, luckily. Hopefully that
The
happens for
breastfeed.
the second one.
Yeah. You'll be fine, Jen.
No, but now I love weight training. I love Pilates. I specifically do weight training because I love feeling strong.
Yeah, me too.
If I don't feel strong, I feel frail. I don't like being too skinny. I like being really toned. So I have to mix weight training and Pilates to be able to achieve
I
that.
think Jasmine's my expander.
Yes.
We're just talking about this.
Yeah.
We're talking
Yeah.
again about like Pilates, but weight training. I need to do weight training this like it's happening. Like I have to do weight training.
You
I
will
love
see
Pilates.
the best transformation in your body than
Oh,
that
boy.
you've ever had.
And it's quick.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
And you burn more calories weightlifting.
Yeah.
But then if you want to gain and not get too skinny, you just have to eat a lot and eat well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like what a lot of girls are scared of with weight training. They're like, oh, I'm going to bulk up. I'm like, you know how much it takes to really bulk up? You have to eat so much food and the right food to bulk up.
I
It's
see.
really hard.
It is
Okay.
really hard. And I'm finding as I'm aging, it's really hard for me to maintain muscle. Like I used to think, oh, you know, I have to like be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Once you start weight training and you start putting on muscle, if you go a couple of days where you don't eat enough and you don't train weights, you just see it start to go down.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hate that.
I hate
when it
that.
happens.
You're
I'm like, come back.
yes, I was looking so good a couple of days ago.
It's that water weight
Yeah,
when you're
so
training.
don't be afraid of bulking up. It's
Yeah.
so hard to bulk up.
A lot of people also ask all the time, like, how do you get your butt like so like high and tight? Like I do Pilates every day and I don't see a difference. And I'm like, get those squats.
Squats.
Yeah.
Some weight.
With
Do some deadlifts.
Yeah.
You got to get the weight.
Yeah.
You got to hang out more. I'm going to come do weight training with you. I need
Also,
to-
working out with a friend is so much more fun.
Yes.
Yes.
I dread going to work out alone.
Me too.
Like it's the worst thing ever.
That's why I'm asking,
The
can I
worst
come
thing
hang out with
Yeah.
Come work out with me.
you? We're saying that you are the founder or co-founder with JOJA. You love working out and, you know, fits the brand. You know, you have one of your dear friends, Josephine Scriver, working out. How did that come into fruition?
It came to life through our love of working out. Back when we were Victoria's Secret Angels, I think there was a huge stigma around the brand that the models didn't work out and they just were born that way. And we were two of the girls that actually really enjoyed weight training.
Yeah.
And she never weight trained before. I was always the girl that was like, let's go do all these crazy weights. And she was like, no, I'm not doing that. She's like, but how do you get your body? I'm like, weight training. So she started weight training with me. And we just started to share our love of the gym on Instagram.
Wow.
There was no idea of starting a brand. It was literally just showing people what we do to stay healthy and showing like our diet, what we ate. And it blew up and we garnered like 400,000 followers over a few years. And then over time, people started asking, what workout clothes are you wearing? And it got us thinking, maybe we should make our own so that we could say they're our own. So then COVID hit. We were about to partner with a company and they were going to take 50% of JOJA.
Ooh.
That's bad.
And that would have been horrible. Thank God we did not do that because we do own 100% of our brand. And throughout COVID, we really sat and we were like, maybe we can figure this out on our own. Now we have the time. We're not traveling all over the world. We can actually sit here, do the research. So we'd pick up the phone, call every friend that we had. Luckily, we have a great circle of friends that are willing to help. So we asked a bunch of people, how do you even start a business? Like, what are the first steps you take? How do you make it a real thing? What factories do you talk to? And we just buckled down and learned every single aspect of the business. I mean, still till this day, we only have, including us, there's 4 employees in JOJA.
Wow.
So we do everything. I used to sit doing customer service and people would get mad, like, where's my order? I'm like, do you not know that this is Jasmine talking to you? They have no idea. Like, up until I would say a year ago, I was really answering the customer service emails.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And people have no idea. that
All
they're
of
being
you,
mean to
you
me.
could have been, anyone that ordered JOJA, you were talking
It
to
was me.
Jasmine, you
You
were
were
talking to the
talking to me.
boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So, I mean, gosh, now I completely understand why we had to get up so early this morning because you're a mom, your Instagram takes 3 days a week and you've got JOJA. I mean, do you sleep?
No, I don't. Someone asked me the other day, how do you do it all? And I said, I don't. I'm just exhausted 24/7.
I bet you
Wow.
are.
But Shanina knows I'm the kind of person that if I set my heart on something, I put 100% into it or I just don't do it at all. And if I can't put 100%, I'm like, what is the point?
Yeah.
And I also am there's no reason to not succeed in what I'm doing. And it's the same way I approached modeling. I'm like, I have to make it to the top. Like there's no other option. Literally no option.
Do you do coaching? Because I want to hire you. You have the best mindset, Jasmine.
Yeah.
I was
so
telling
good.
people on my team, I was like, you guys, there is no option to not be where all these other brands that are billion-dollar brands, like there's no reason why we can't. We
I
just
agree.
need to work hard. And like, I mean, I wake up thinking about JOJA and I go to sleep thinking about JOJA. Sometimes I don't sleep because I'm thinking too much about JOJA.
Yeah.
It's just non-stop.
Your hard work pays off in so many ways. Yeah.
It
You're
does.
so dedicated. Yeah. And that attitude, it's like, for you, it's just like easily. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, why can't it be easy for me to have that attitude? I'm pretty good. I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. I was like, this year it's like hustle.
Yeah, you
And-
have to.
And I told my manager the other day, and I was like, it's not just the year, it's going ahead. Like, this is it. There's no like just, 2024 is the year. What about 2025? We're just going to take a chill one? Absolutely not.
No, you have to
It's
keep going.
Keep going. Like, this is going to happen. But
you have to keep going. And like people always say like, oh, I want to start this brand. I want to start this brand. It's like, cool. Yeah, you can go do that and maybe you can make a couple sales. But if you want to make a real business, you have to be so dedicated.
Yeah.
Take so many sacrifices. Like I remember we were just in the Maldives on vacation and I'm like, a vacation doesn't exist anymore. Like it's a luxury. It's going to be a luxury when I can take a vacation. Like every single morning that trip, I was working
yeah.
all morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, until I get this done, I can't go do anything that I want to do.
Yeah. It's hard because even for the Christmas holidays, I understand I just slept. Because like being a mom as well, and you're doing so much and you're trying to juggle being a mom. And I'm like, I don't get the time to just sleep.
No.
And there was one day Jasmine was like, I'm just going to sleep and stay in bed because
Yeah.
I don't get that option at all.
Ever.
And I was like, you know what? I agree. Go ahead. Like,
Even my
let-
husband was like, yeah, she's right.
She's right. Talking about your husband and Snapchat, we're talking about how much you love Snapchat. It's so funny how the universe happens and works. Jasmine, well, you can talk about it. How did you meet your wonderful husband? And us as a whole, even Georgia, like we all look at you and Juan and like relationship goals.
Yeah, you're on my Pinterest board.
Just holding hands.
Oh.
So let's talk about your love story and like finding a good relationship. Because you've been through some rotten ones.
Some shitty ones.
Yeah.
But everyone has
everyone
to go
does.
through a few shitty
You have
ones.
to.
Yeah,
until
you
they
have
find a
to.
good- And I think that if I didn't go through shitty relationships, I would not know how to appreciate Juan the way I do.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that I went through the worst.
Yeah.
Like the worst ones. But we met in 2016. I was newly out of my last relationship. And I was actually going to a meeting to be a model for something Snapchat was releasing, new product feature. And I sat down at this lunch. I was really hungover from the night before because it was the Moschino show in LA. Were you there?
I wasn't there.
I thought you were there.
Yeah.
And we went out at night.
I was there actually, but I didn't go
You were
out.
there.
I didn't go out.
Yeah, I feel like you were there.
Yeah.
We went out that night. Then my friend that also works at Snapchat was like, I would love for you to meet the team, but it has to be tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, fuck, like I'm so hungover. I don't want to go. So I went the next morning and Juan was the first person that walked in. And the first thing he said to me ever was, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm so hungover. I was like, great. So we sat, had the lunch. It was great. I thought nothing of it. I was like, it's work. I'm focused on things. And then I
Yeah.
actually left the meeting and I went to meet Romy.
Yeah.
And she was like, was that guy Juan there? I was like, yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, isn't he cute? And it took me a second to like really sit and think about it. I was like, actually, he was cute. And then they invited us to a birthday that night. We hung out and then we just stayed in touch and the rest is history. Now we're married and have a baby.
And ta-da. But it's like, I like that idea though. When you looked at him, you're like, it's like, I think this idea when we meet someone, it's like that has to be an instant spark or like something like that to make
that
it like
spark will get you into trouble.
yes, that spark is like means it's the one or like it's really important. But you didn't have that with Juan. It kind of developed.
Yeah, and it was nice. I wasn't looking for anything. So it just was like a natural flow of things.
He's a good guy. Like he's just a really good egg. We love Juanito. He loves me as well.
Yes, he loves all my friends so much.
So
He's
much.
Such a gentleman. That's one of my favorite qualities about him.
He is.
Like he treats me like a princess or a queen, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I think it's not even like just about like I feel like a lot of girls look for guys that just like treat them to nice things and buy them this or buy them that. And I'm like, no, you want a gentleman. You want someone that's your biggest supporter, that tells you you're beautiful every day, that just wants you to be the best
version of yourself
ever. He's like my biggest cheerleader. And I think that's so important. I'm like, put all the other things aside. I tell this to my single friends. I'm like, just find a nice gentleman. Like that's all you want.
Yeah.
Someone that loves you and respects you and thinks the world of you.
My heart was warming when you said that. He's like, he's my biggest cheerleader. I'm like, just need to find that cheerleader.
The other day, I mean, I've been working really hard this last week on JOJA. Like, we're doing so many things with the company, and he sent me the nicest message because I've been like 6 a.m. to midnight every single day, just doing too much.
Yeah.
And he wrote me a message like, you're so inspiring. Like, I'm so glad I got to marry someone like you and that you're going to be the best inspiration for our daughter. And just like, that to me is like why I work hard and why having a guy like that as my partner is so special.
That is
Just wow, just hearing that, I'm like, oh my God, we all need to just, if you're in a toxic relationship out there, just dump them.
Yeah, get it. Just go.
Just get rid of them.
If you're hearing this
because
right
you
now,
can have
dump him
that.
today.
Yeah. And my response to him is like, you are part of the reason why I'm so passionate about the things that I do, because he's just constantly just pushing me like, I know you can do it. Do this, go for it 100%.
Because he's achieved a lot too.
Yeah.
Hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he was one on the founding team of Snapchat.
Yeah, he was there since, I think he's like one of the first 10 employees.
Wow.
So he's been with them on the ride, and yeah, he's a hard worker. I don't know anyone who works as hard as him. So I think that's where also when we got married, like I didn't have JOJA before we got married. I started JOJA after, and he was also like the driving force of like, don't partner with someone. You can do this on your own. And I always thought, celebrities just slap their names on stuff and a whole team behind them does the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you could actually even do it on your own.
Yeah.
But him coming from like an entrepreneurial tech business really like taught me so much.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shanina and I are bootstrapping this. It's
Yeah.
three-man band over here. It's
That's
literally
great.
just us and Caleb over there who's rocking it behind the cameras.
Yeah.
Because we tried to like bring people on and just nothing fit, and we thought, you know what, we can do this ourselves. So that's
Yeah.
It's also no one's going to believe in your brand or what you're doing more than you guys are.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm proud of us because even just hearing all this, I was like, yeah, we're doing the right thing. Like we have a story to tell. Like even Georgia and I like bunking together in the room right now. Yeah. We stay up late going over our guests and the education and like, the background work, and we're building the brand. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
But I
of
bet
work.
you guys have a lot of fun, which I think is also very important, is to really enjoy what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just going to burn out.
You're gonna burn out. That's a perfect example because even with Juan, and you say he's like the hardest working, and he is. He's like such a businessman. He's very hardworking, and even when we go on holidays, it's like, okay, Juan's on a call, whatever it is. But I think it's really important to say this idea when people like look at our Instagram and socials, like they have it easy. It's like we work so hard, but we also play hard. Like the balance is really important because it's like it's life as well. And we enjoy each other, but behind all of that, we're like taking calls, we're shooting content,
nonstop.
Having a tequila by the pool, but shooting content.
Yeah, exactly. Work hard, play harder.
Yeah.
So how do you balance being a mum on top of all of this? You're working 24/7. You know,
She's
and then
so cute, guys.
you have to be a full-time
She's
mum as
so
well, which you
cute.
are. You know.
Yeah, it's hard. And I don't even think I have balance, which is crazy to say. I haven't really figured that out yet. I just take each day as I can. Like, for example, in the mornings, I'm like, okay, that's my time I get up with the baby, and you know, she gets up like 6 a.m. So I'm like, okay, I have this undivided time where no one else is up, where it's just me and her. It's so great. And then if I have a work commitment or something, Juan will take that and he'll be like, okay, I'll take the morning, you go do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the evenings, I try to make sure that after 5 o'clock, I dedicate at least the time with the baby until she's going to bed to like be all my focus on her. Like I put my phone to the side, all my focus is on her. And then at night, I just go back to business. Like when she's asleep, I'm like, okay, I feel clear to go back to business. And then on the weekends, those are my really like special, precious moments where I can like be with the baby one-on-one and just really enjoy her time. But I also think even just showing a really strong example, granted she's 11 months old, but just showing her a strong example of a working mom is really important for me to show her.
I agree.
Yeah. But like there really is no balance. I just take each day is so different.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's
Also,
really hard.
Do you have help with it all?
My mom is so helpful, and I'm so grateful that I live in the same city as my mom because I can't imagine not having her here.
Yeah.
I mean, I see you go through it and your mom's all the way in Australia. Like that's so hard.
Yeah.
Juan's mom comes for like 2 months at a time when she can. And then we are fortunate enough to have a nanny that also helps us throughout the week.
Well, you're both so busy. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it without that.
Yeah. In the beginning, I think up until Mia was 4 months old, we didn't have anyone, and I was really stressing out. I'm like, I can't get my work done, and like I have to get my work done. It depends on me. Like I have to do it. So once that started happening, we were like, okay, we need to get someone to come in and help us for
It takes a
the
village.
middle of the day.
It does.
It takes a lot.
But you were able to work at home and then see me. Like, it is hard.
Yeah, and I do work at home. I mean, with JOJA, we work out at my office.
Yeah.
So I'm there and I'll like step away in between calls and go like downstairs and play with her and hang out with her, feed her lunch. But yeah, I think every single day I'm like, I don't know how, or I appreciate single moms so much. Like my mom was a single mom.
Same as
The
mine.
fact that she was able to raise me while also having a job
I don't know how.
and maintaining just her life and being happy, like that's insane. And having a baby is really expensive. And I never realized it until I had a baby. I'm like, there's women out there working 3 to 4 jobs, still being a mom, being the best person that they can be for their baby, and absolutely killing it.
I know.
And I'm like, that is really fucking insane.
I don't know
It's
how
so
they do it.
hard.
I don't know how they do it.
It's so hard.
My mom was a single mom too, and it's just, I was like, wow, like how did she do it? But I remember like my mom would get up at like 6 a.m., wake us up, and it was up to my brother and I just to get ready for school. And, you know, and then when we get home from school, my mom wouldn't be there, but she had to work, you know, but she would always check in. But somehow like good schools, you know, extracurricular activities, like she always gave us a time. And I'm like, I don't know how she did it.
Yeah.
Today, I don't know how I can do it.
It's insane. And I know like how fortunate I am and we both are. And I'm like, I've been trying to find different ways I can help to give back and like support single moms because I'm mind blown that people are able to do this
Yeah.
and still work.
Yes.
Gosh, I
and
could
provide.
barely take care of a dog.
Right? Right?
I know. I have a
Baby's
baby.
crazy.
Yeah, and we've got the doggy too. Like we've got and then it's a lot. So much there's pressure, but it's not. But it's a lot. And then I get mum guilt too. Like even running today, I was like I had to run out the door. Zai was still asleep, so I didn't get to see him before we went. So it's hard. It's hard. And this morning before I was coming, I was just looking at a video of him. I was like, I didn't get to see him.
Yeah, I know. That's how like when I book jobs now and they're outside of LA,
Yeah.
the client will send me flights. I'm like, excuse me? You think I'm just going to leave like
Yeah.
6 hours early? No, I am leaving up until the last second that I can, and I'm returning home the quickest that I can. I don't have this dilly-dally time to like not go see the baby. I have to get out and come back right away.
Yeah, same. And I'm going to be traveling soon. I'm like, well, Zai has to come with me because I can't be without him. So
Yeah. I just went like 5 days without the baby, and I was like, whew, 4 days is my max.
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
Especially when they're so little.
Yeah.
So with all this going on, what does the future look like for Jasmine Tookes? What are your goals for this year?
Oh my gosh, there's so many goals.
I love that.
Top three.
Top three. I think a big goal of mine, or a big focus of mine this year, is JOJA. I think that we've done a really good job this last year recognizing that we're able to sell product.
Yeah.
So now it's just really creating a strong brand identity and guiding the brand to where I want it to go. Which is like, I just want it to be known as one of the top activewear brands. And that takes time. Might not be this year. Could be within the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I think for me, career-wise, it's just keep on elevating myself and going towards those goals that I have with certain brands. What's the last one? I don't know.
Personal goals.
Personal goals. I think really getting back on my workout regimen and like being really dedicated to that at least 4 days a week.
Well, you've got your workout buddy now.
I know.
Shanina
Oh,
wants to lift
me.
weights.
Totally. You think you're going to have another baby anytime soon?
You know what? I really wanted to get pregnant the
This
same
year.
time I did.
Yeah.
Like I loved my timeline of being pregnant.
Yeah.
I got pregnant in June. I was able to still travel around in summer. No one knew. Holidays came.
Literally no one knew.
No one knew.
She wore like
one
this
knew.
silk dress.
I was in
I'm like,
Ibiza.
she was,
I was at
8 months pregnant. I'm like, what?
I was staying up till 8 a.m. with everybody in Ibiza,
Yeah.
and no one knew.
Yeah.
So perfect timeline. You get pregnant in summer, no one knows. I still did Fashion Week in September, no one knew. Thanksgiving comes, Christmas comes, you're just home, cozy. You don't really
Eating.
miss anything. You don't have any FOMO.
I love that.
Then January, then you have the baby in February, and then you're back and ready for summer. So that's what I wanted to do again.
There you go, guys. Get pregnant in summer.
Makes sense.
Looking at that timeline now and the things that I want to really achieve and focus on this year, I feel like I'm going to have to stray from my timeline.
Oh.
And maybe get pregnant end of the year or revisit that timeline again
I feel like
in 25.
I feel like, I don't know, if the stars are aligned because we got pregnant. And how funny is this? We got pregnant at the same time, the same year. But I was like, if I got pregnant, big if, it would be near the end of the year because I was like, I don't see myself being.
Then if you get pregnant at the end of the year, say you get pregnant in December. I
not
literally
only-
was talking about this last night. You get pregnant in December, then you're pregnant the whole entire next year.
That's me. That's how I
That's so
I.
hard.
Yeah.
Wow, there's so much science involved.
Oh, I'm a planner. Like I plan, everything is very thought out. It's very strategic. And that just sounds miserable.
I think that's why you're so successful. You know?
Yeah, that's why you're
Yeah.
so successful.
Very
You're
thought out.
You even
huge.
plan your pregnancies.
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Juan's
Put it in
like-
a calendar.
Juan's like, wow, you really thought this through. I'm like, yeah.
But Jazz, I want to say thank you for being here because you're a very busy lady. But you're a huge role model for me.
For me
Georgia,
too.
Yeah, Georgia,
Aw.
and I'm sure everyone that's going to be listening. You've just changed my thought pattern for things that I need to do for the year. And I'll be seeing you for weight training as well.
Yeah. Let's work hard.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no reason not to be successful. That's just what I tell myself every day.
What a great place to finish.
There's no
Jasmine
reason.
Tookes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Love
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.